the small, isolated town of Winter's Edge, Alaska, life was harsh and quiet. The snow always seemed heavier, and the wind carried whispers that chilled the bones. Michael Hawthorne grew up in a close-knit family on the outskirts, in a modest wooden home that had been in his family for generations. His father, a hard-working farmer, regretted never getting an education and pushed Michael to study, ensuring he could leave the isolation behind. Eventually, Michael moved to Anchorage for a government office job, leaving behind the familiarity of his family home. Despite the comfort of his new life, Michael often returned to the old two-story house in Winter's Edge. It had narrow, snow-packed streets where neighbors could hear every creak of a floorboard or whispered conversation. The neighborhood seemed friendly, but a sense of unease always lingered when he walked alone at night. Directly beside his property stood an abandoned house, chained and boarded. The roof sagged, windows were covered with grime, and no one had lived there for decades. Yet at night, faint lights would flicker behind the broken boards, and whispers carried over the wind. One frigid evening, after a long day at work, Michael returned home. The snow crunched under his boots, and the dim orange streetlights barely pierced the darkness. He climbed to the attic with his battery-powered lamp, ready to lose himself in a book. But as he read, a strange sensation crawled over his skin, the undeniable feeling of being watched. Hesitating, he looked toward the roof of the abandoned house next door. There, illuminated faintly by the moon, stood two girls. They were identical, pale-skinned, their long white hair flowing unnaturally in the cold wind. Their eyes were fixed on him. Blinking rapidly, Michael shook his head. They were gone. He tried to convince himself it was a trick of the light or exhaustion from work, but the unease lingered. That night, as he attempted to sleep, a cold draft crept along his neck and shoulders, though every window was shut. He heard faint footsteps across the roof of the empty house, soft but deliberate. Whispers echoed faintly through the walls of his attic, words he couldn't understand, but his name was clear. Michael. The sound was chilling, melodic, yet filled with malice. Over the following week, the girls appeared more often. Always at night, always in the same spot on the roof, sometimes smiling, sometimes glaring, but always watching him. Shadows lengthened unnaturally, corners darkened, and even the soft snow seemed to move unnaturally when he glanced toward the house. Michael's friends noticed he was pale, jumpy, and restless. He couldn't eat properly, and sleep became a distant memory. Every night, the girls' eyes seemed closer, their smiles wider, and the whispers grew louder, sometimes echoing through his very bones. One stormy night, Michael climbed to the attic as usual. Lightning flashed, illuminating the silhouettes of the two girls standing at opposite corners of the roof. Their faces had changed, no longer innocent, now twisted and grotesque, with eyes too dark, too wide, and teeth glinting in the dim light. A voice, high-pitched and distorted, whispered from every corner of the room, "You cannot leave." The door slammed shut with a deafening bang, shaking the entire floor. The lamp flickered and went out. Panic gripped Michael as icy hands seemed to press down on his chest, suffocating him. He tried to call out, but no sound escaped his throat. Heart racing, he fumbled for his phone, only to find the battery dead. Shadows pressed closer, the girls' figures stretching taller, moving unnaturally, like shadows of something not quite human. He was trapped in a nightmare. Each breath became a struggle as whispers transformed into laughter, cruel and echoing, bouncing off the attic walls. Michael realized this was no ordinary haunting. It was something alive, ancient, and hungry for fear. Suddenly, the attic window rattled violently. Michael spun around and saw one of the girls vanish, only for her shadow to flicker across the opposite wall. Every instinct screamed to run, but the stairs felt impossibly far. The air grew thicker, colder, pressing down on him like a physical weight. Every heartbeat echoed in his ears. For hours he struggled, gasping, trapped between the lamp's faint glow and the suffocating darkness. Each moment stretched into eternity, the whispers turning into harsh chants, incomprehensible yet demanding. Finally, a noise from below. A friend, Jason, had noticed Michael hadn't answered texts and came to check on him. As the footsteps approached, the girls disappeared instantly, as if evaporating into the shadows. Michael collapsed, shivering violently, unable to speak. His friend guided him downstairs, murmuring reassurances, while Michael's mind struggled to comprehend the horror he had endured. But he knew, deep down, it wasn't over. The girls, or whatever they were still out there, watching, waiting for the night to fall again. But now, I want to hear from you. What would you have done if you were in Michael's place, trapped in that frozen house with those girls staring at you from the shadows? Could you face the terror, or would you run and never look back? Comment below with your thoughts, theories, or even your own creepy experiences. Maybe someone reading this knows the true secret of Winter's Edge.